My name is Inbal Volpo. I'm an artist and activist originally from the West Bank in Israel, now living in Vienna for the past few years. I'm a member of the art collective One State Embassy and one of the initiators of the initiative Standing Together Vienna. I grew up in a place that is called Oranit. It is a settlement we call it the entrance of the West Bank. It is on the Green Line border. It was quite a dangerous place to grow up in. Terrorists coming into the settlements. It was quite scary, but I don't know how to say it. It was like, you don't think about it twice, you don't think about it at all. This is just the routine of life. We didn't have a school in the settlement. So only in high school, when we had to drive to another city to school, then we realized that, wait, there's something different about where we are. My family was murdered in the Holocaust, and the other part of my family, my father's side, they lived in Palestine since 1830. We learned mostly about the sacrifice that was made by our people to stay in this land. That builds up a very strong Zionist, patriotic point of view. So growing up was a lot of feelings of belongness. And this is like the strongest emotion that you have. I belong to these people and I belong to this land. When I started Art Academy, I was 24. It was after my military service. I was very strong in my opinion of where I'm from and my Zionist point of view of life. I submitted a painting that featured the actions taken by the settlers movement. And to that painting, my teacher told me that he will not give me critique because there is no place for right-wing art. And I honestly didn't realize that I was making right-wing art. In those very important years of my life of understanding the huge gap of my knowledge to reality, I understood that I only know certain aspects of the narrative, certain facts I was taught. A lot of them were hidden. Those were very difficult times for me because in a way, the earth shifts. After you read and after you understand the reality in Israel-Palestine, after you know what the occupation is, what is being done by my name to the Palestinian people, what was being done by me to the Palestinian land, then I shifted completely. I became an activist. I started using art as a tool to explain where I'm from, what does it mean to be a settler, what does it mean to take over a land. The separation wall, the main reason for it was in order for us not to know each other. I think that what I'm trying to do today is to put down that wall and to face the other person in the eyes and to see that he, like me, wants to raise his kids and to give them hope and to give them reasons to be a better person and to succeed in life, to go to the academy and to go to play, I don't know, to do whatever they want to do. That is not possible in the reality of Israel and Palestine as long as we have that wall between us. And when I'm talking about that wall, the wall is not just a real concrete thing. It's in her essence of not recognizing the other person as a legitimate citizen or a human being. In 2019, I was invited to take part in an exhibition talking about democracy in Israel. That's where I met Osama Zatar. He is a sculptor originally from Palestine, from a village next to Ramallah. Our first meeting, we went to an art supply store together. He took me to see this store. He speaks Hebrew, But one of the first things that he asked me was, were you in the army? I was never asked by a Palestinian if I was in the army, and I felt so guilty. He was telling me how that seeing a soldier, an Israeli soldier, is like very traumatic for him. And at the beginning, before he learned Hebrew, so some words in Hebrew he only knew from the military. I could relate to that because some words in German I only knew from the stories about the Holocaust, like schnell, which is like the most scary word that I know. What we can see, I think, worldwide right now, and also in Austria, we can see a horrible polarization between the people. When the war over Gaza started, October 23, you would either be pro-Palestinian or you would be pro-Israeli. You wouldn't be pro-humanity. You wouldn't be pro-peace. You would have to pick a side. We started this initiative of Standing Together Vienna, which is an Arab, Jewish, Israeli, Palestinian initiative of people coming together and standing for peace, for immediate stop of the war. We started as having a vigil just to bring people together to stand for the victims, and it grew to be a movement. Very early on, when we started Standing Together Vienna, we had a big problem. We tried to bring people together, but when you bring people together from Israel and Palestine, then you have Zionists that consider themselves as lefties but hold the idea that Jewish people should have a land. And then you have the anti-Zionist people that see Zionism as the reason of the occupation, that sees Zionism as a fascist movement. And we could not move forward from those definitions of Zionism and anti-Zionism. Later on, I would say 2 months later, we understood that we started off wrong. The first thing in order to have this safe space is to know each other, is to know the person behind the definition. So we started having more and more events that are non-formal, like a picnic or like a dinner. Not just sitting down in a big group and deciding this is our principles. Because when you try to decide the principle, you are going into those immediate definitions. The first step, I would say, into taking down the barriers is to like the person in front of you, is to know their history and what brought him here today. We are all here because we're seeking for peace. We will may never have the same understanding over the past, but we for sure will agree on the future. So let's focus on the future. It is very easy to close your eyes, but that won't bring us into a better future. That will just bring more of the same.